What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So have you ever heard the saying, elections have consequences? Now, we might see a consequence as a result of elections that the White House doesn't want to see. And I'm going to talk a little bit about it. It has to do with the Epstein files. I know the Epstein files, you're hearing everyone talk about that. Release the files, release the files. And right now you have two congressmen that are trying to get a discharge petition signed in the House. And I'm going to tell you why this election in 2 weeks, there's a special election in 2 weeks in Arizona, why this matters. We just saw an election yesterday. We're going to see an election in 2 weeks. And that could force a vote in the House when it comes to releasing the Epstein files. So that's what we're going to focus on in this video. But first off, if you guys are watching this video and you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to give you guys all the information that you need to know when it comes to releasing the Epstein files. They haven't done so yet. The promise, actually one of the president's promises, is that he was going to release the Epstein files. And because they haven't been released, you have people, both Republicans and Democrats, that are a little, why haven't they been released? They're skeptical. They're thinking there's something there that they're trying to hide. That's why they haven't released them. So let's talk a little bit about the elections first, because this is the reason why we're even having this discussion. And so this headline reads, Democrats retake Connolly's seat in Virginia's 11th congressional district special election. Okay, so we have this individual here, Walkinshaw. He just won, and he will now be going to Congress. And so good for him. He's now going to be a congressman. At least he'll be a congressman until 2026. He's going to have to run again. So it's basically he ran, won, and now he's going to have to run again because he's just filling that seat into 2026. So that's the first thing there. So you have Walkinshaw who won. Now we have a special election on September 23rd. And this is going to be in Raul Grijalva's seat. Now, he was a congressman. He did pass away. And so now they'll be filling his seat. And his daughter is actually running, and she's the front runner right now. And this is a seat that should go to a Democrat. And so we have one seat in Virginia that was won by Democrats. And so that moves the total for Democrats in the House from 212 to 213. And we have another special election in Arizona, and that could move them from 213 to 214. And so this is the Arizona 7th seat. Now this is Grijalva, and so that's his daughter. And the competitor is Gutierrez, who is a Republican. Now, in this district, this is a strong Democratic district. Okay, so for the most part, she is a shoo-in to win. It's not going to even be close. And so after September 23rd, we're going to hear talk again about a discharge petition. Now, let's go over the numbers when it comes to the Epstein files. So how does this play a role in the Epstein files? So let's look at this. So when it comes to signatures, right now, currently, as it stands, we have 212 Democrats that have signed this petition, this discharge petition, okay? I'll explain about a discharge petition in a second, but you have 212 signatures from Democrats. When it comes to Republicans, you have 4 signatures coming from Republican. And you have Thomas Massie, and most people have heard of Thomas Massie before because he is spearheading this discharge petition, at least on the Republican side, trying to get as many Republican signatures as possible. And then you have Ro Khanna on the Democratic side trying to get as many Democrats. Now, all Democrats are saying release the files. Okay, and we'll talk, as I stated, we'll talk a little bit about what this means, what this discharge petition would mean, and how they're going to move forward with this. They also have Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, and Nancy Mace. So those are the 4 Republicans that are in favor of releasing the Epstein files. Combined right now, you have 216 signatures. What you need is 218 signatures. And so now you see how these elections are going to play a role. If you have 2 more Democrats winning seats and going to D.C. and being sworn in, now they can sign the discharge petition. And both of them have indicated that they would be in favor of signing the discharge petition. So now we move from 216 to 218. And as I stated, you need 218 signatures to move the discharge petition forward. Now, what is a discharge petition? Why are they doing this? As the Speaker of the House, you have the power or the authority to bring any bill that you want to the floor. However, If you are a congressman and you're not the speaker, you don't have the power to do that on your own. What you need is a discharge petition. You need to get signatures from everyone, at least 218 signatures, to force a vote in the House. And that's what Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna are trying to do. They're trying to force a vote to release the file, to force the White House to release the Epstein files. So that's what they're talking about here. So this discharge petition, once they get 218, which they probably will, but it'll take, September 23rd, that's when we'll be talking more about this. But soon after September 23rd, you're probably going to hear the speaker say this: we're facing a government shutdown. We need to delay this. We're not going to be able to address this right now. We need to move forward with, voting for a resolution, a continued resolution, whatever they're going to do in order to avoid a government shutdown. That's going to be the talk, right? It'll be the last week before because October 1st, if we don't have either a continued resolution or they don't pass a budget for 2026, we're looking at a government shutdown. So that's going to be the talk there. But the discharge petition will have the 218 signatures that are needed, and so they can move forward even after they figure out what they're going to do with the continued resolution, which is probably what's going to happen, because that's what happens all the time when it comes to the budget. We always kick the can down the road, and they'll push it down the road till maybe December, and then they'll vote on it again in December. But when it comes down to it, they'll have the signatures that they need for this discharge petition. And that's why it's still on hold. They haven't really talked a lot about the discharge petition, but they know with these two Democrats coming in, if they go ahead and sign the discharge petition, they'll have the votes that they need. Now, once they have those signatures and they hold a vote in the House, they have the votes that they need already to pass this bill. They have the votes. They have 218. That's all you need is 218. So if all the Democrats that sign the discharge petition, if they move ahead and go ahead and vote for releasing the Epstein files, and you have the 4 Republicans that go ahead and vote to release the Epstein files, then guess what? It passes. It moves to the Senate. And then once it moves to the Senate, now the Senate has to vote on it. However, when it comes to the Senate, it's going to have to be even more bipartisan, because you have 53 Republicans, 47 Democrats. And so you're going to need Republicans to come on board to pass this measure, because they need 60 votes. Okay, so they're making it filibuster proof. And so that's going to be something that we'll have to keep our eye on. Now, when it comes to Republicans in the Senate, you have some Republicans in the Senate that are running for re-election. Do they really want to vote against releasing the Epstein files in this situation? Because if they do, they're going to have to answer to their constituents. And you have a majority of the American people right now, whether you be Democrat or Republican, saying, release the files. Why aren't you releasing them? If there's nothing to see, if it's a hoax, just release the files, and then we'll be able to know that it's a hoax. And so there's more and more pressure on the White House, more and more pressure on the Speaker of the House to make a decision on this and just release the files. And so we're going to have to see how this moves forward, but I just wanted to bring this to your attention. So if you are one of those people out there saying, look, they need to release the files, there's still a good possibility that this discharge petition will pass the House, it will go to the Senate, and we'll have to see what happens in the Senate. So I want to know what you guys think about this. Do you think they should release the Epstein files? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye. So that's all we have for this video. Make sure if you guys want to send me an email, you can do that, david@thetecshow.com. Like the video, subscribe for more, and check out these videos over here for some more great content. Talk to you later. Bye.